Welcome to Business Class, a podcast for people wanting to upgrade their thinking, upgrade their learning, and upgrade their life. I'm your host, Eugenia Panderhos, founder of Business Class Collective, best-selling author, and life coach. If you're an entrepreneur, a startup, or someone who dreams of reaching their full potential, then you're in the right place. You'll feel empowered and inspired to design the life you've always wanted. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the show. I hope you're well. This week, I am thrilled to be presenting Michael Sarunic, who started his career as a moulder and core maker while also studying mechanical engineering. Michael found he was missing the element of human contact, and anyone that knows Michael or is a client of Michael's know that he's a very personable human being. With the support of his wife, Veronica, he became a podiatrist. He was able to combine the two things he loved the most, helping people and mechanics, namely the mechanics of the feet. So I'm thrilled to bring Michael to you. Let's get started. Welcome to the show, Michael. I am thrilled to have you here to join the Business Class Collective podcast and to share your story. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a senior podiatrist and soul saver at the Foot and Leg Centres at Kent Town and Glenelg in Adelaide, South Australia, where we believe in questioning the standard treatment options for musculoskeletal disorders of the foot and leg in order to achieve better clinical outcomes for our clients. I have an amazing wife who has helped me to be the man I am today, and I also have 3 fantastic children who are all young adults and have all just completed their studies and are finding their place in the world. So it's pretty exciting at the moment.
It's a beautiful place to be. When you see your children grow into productive, healthy adults, there's nothing more pleasing as a parent.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me about your background in engineering?
Well, Jeannie, I've always loved the way that things work. Even as a child, when I got a new toy, the first thing I'd do is pull it apart to see how it worked and also to see if I could make it go faster. So it was natural that I started my career in engineering. I began working as a trade, as a moulder core maker, and began studying mechanical engineering so that I could have a more important role in my career.
Fantastic. That's great. So you've had quite a remarkable career change. So you've gone from engineering and pulling toys apart as a child to leapfrogging into taking care of people's feet.
Yes, that's correct.
How did that happen?
So I enjoyed working in the foundry and studying engineering, but foundries are actually quite bad places to work, being very dusty and having lots of toxic fumes, which started to affect my health. So I actually had to leave. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I actually tried lots of different jobs, being a courier, a telemarketer, a carer for Bakuma. I really enjoyed my time as a telemarketer and worked with some fantastic people who were also on this self-discovery journey. It showed me how much I liked working with people. So working as a carer, I enjoyed even more, but I felt like I was limited by the role. I felt like I had more to offer and wanted to stay hands-on. So the decision was made that I'd go back to study. At this time, I was 29, married, and we already had 1 child. I discovered podiatry, which fit my love for how things work and the ability to serve others to make a positive change in people's lives.
A marriage made in heaven, I would say, bringing your skill set and your passion together for a bigger purpose, and that is helping other people. And you are a people person, Michael. I've known this from the moment I met you.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Can you expand on what foot mobilisation is and how you help your patients with this innovative therapy?
Foot mobilisation therapy is based on identifying and correcting the underlying cause of foot pain problems. It's a bit like chiropractic and physiotherapy combined, applied from a podiatrist's understanding of the foot. And we use foot mobilisation therapy and tailored corrective exercises to treat structural misalignments and mechanical problems of the feet and legs. Foot mobilisation therapy stimulates your body's ability to repair and restore itself by improving foot mobility, function, posture, and alignment, helping people to get back to doing the things they love without foot pain holding them back.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because we have our feet forever and we need to look after them. And as we age, things change, and footwear that we wore in our younger years can cause us problems when we're older. I can be a testament to that. And I think looking after your feet is critical to all of your joints, up your leg, up your knee, to your hips. I think it all starts at the feet. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. And look, we only have one pair of feet that has to last us our whole lives.
Tell me, what are the most common foot problems?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You already alluded to some of those. We see lots of people with heel pain, Achilles pain, bunions, knee pain, hip pain, neuromas, poor balance, and even back problems that can be stemming from poor gait patterns. Foot mobilization therapy is effective in many of these conditions, but I really want to make sure that as much as I humanly can, that the people who come here to us for treatment are in the right place. So we really need to diagnose them thoroughly. And it's really important. As some people, I just can't help. This is where, after the initial assessment, I can refer those people onto someone who I feel may be better suited for their condition.
Okay, and in what type of conditions would you refer someone to a specialist?
So, really, anything that I feel like we can't help with. So, lots of times people will come and they've got things like paresthesia, which is, you haven't lost sensation, your sensation is altered. Often we're not knowing where that paresthesia is coming from. So, sometimes it is foot function. Other times it's stemming from somewhere in the back or hip or knee, so somewhere the nerve is being impinged, or sometimes the nerve is damaged itself. So foot mobilization therapy won't help in those cases. So really being able to know what's going on is important. So sometimes I'll send them to a neurologist. Well, there may be other cases where I feel like someone will be better served by a physio or a chiropractor if there's something stemming from higher up, like in their back or in their hips or something like that.
Oh, I see. So tell me, can you explain what foot mobilization exercises are? So, what are the type of exercises you'll get a patient to do at home?
Basically, the exercises we do are really structured for each person individually. So we need to change people's feet structurally, but we use the exercises to help maintain those structural changes, but also to help change function. So, for instance, we'll get people to roll on a tennis ball when we need to get more mobility out of their feet. So we want to stretch tissues and really get their joints moving. And then we'll also do some exercises like scrunching the feet and raising heels, where we need to work on getting people strong as well. So some people have feet that are quite floppy, so we need to get some areas stronger, and sometimes they'll have a combination of being floppy with some joints and then being quite stiff in others. So we really need to tailor those exercises to work on those joints and those areas. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and it is a challenge, and it's a partnership between you and your patient. You need to know that your patient is doing the right thing at home between appointments.
Oh, absolutely. So I always say to patients, this is a team effort. And I really believe that the best way to get people better is for us to work together rather than them being a passive participant. The other part of that is I hope that the people that do come to us become experts in taking care of their own feet.
That's a great philosophy, Michael. That's a great philosophy. It puts the power back into the patient and to also respond quickly if something does get triggered again.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, look, we've had people that have gone overseas. And the classic is, I was in somewhere in Europe walking on cobblestones, doing 20,000 steps a day, and my feet got sore. But then they go, don't worry, because I did. And they'll tell me one of the exercises and it fixed my feet. And then I went on with my holiday. And you don't need to worry about it because it's feeling better now.
I love that. Empowering your patients to take charge of their health.
Yes, exactly.
How do you stay motivated, Michael?
So I love what I do. I really like fixing things, and my faith drives me to be of service to others. Also, at work, we have regular weekly team meetings and check ins to help us show gratitude and celebrate the wins that we have had for that week.
That's wonderful. It's so good to stop, pause, reflect, and celebrate. I think too many people are going through life just one thing after the other without actually taking that moment to revel in that feeling of, wow, we've come this far and we've done this as a team and we're going to be doing this
Mm,
week. And, really taking that moment, so precious.
absolutely.
And it's a great mindset, great philosophy for your business.
Oh, look, I have to be thankful to Mike Talbot because he's really set up a lot of that stuff. Um, and he's done a lot of research on how to make things work in that way. So I really do appreciate that we've got that guidance.
That's fantastic. And, these types of philosophies come from the top. It's a
Oh,
leadership
yes,
and it trickles down. And unless the leader embodies it and serves his staff and his people, it won't happen. We know about culture and we know about the importance of a good leader and also a leader in times of good times and the struggles.
I agree 100%. And we've definitely had some times which, have been a bit of a struggle, AKA when COVID hit. We just didn't know what was going to be the outcomes for us over that time.
I think there are a lot of businesses, Michael. There's lots of people who have been affected by COVID, and their business model may not have been able to be sustainable during that time. And then it's about recalibrating and finding your people again and getting on with it. It's very difficult. COVID was a leveler of some sort or a destructor in another way. And, I think anyone that has survived it and is thriving now is in a good place.
Mike's leadership at that time really did get us through that, and he did fantastic. But he kind of already had plans ahead of time just in case these sort of things happened. So it was just absolutely fantastic. And you know what? If you don't know, you don't know. But to have someone who's already kind of ahead of the loop was really, really helpful.
What type of things did Mike do?
He actually already had a plan set up so that if something did happen, he could actually then put things in place. He actually had a bank set up like an emergency fund so that if things do happen, he can still keep staff employed and then we can work on getting back to business.
He's an astute business owner,
He's
for
done
sure.
fantastic.
For sure. I mean, I think knowing to have your nest egg aside as a business owner and to know that that's for emergency funds, and we don't know what the emergency looks like, but in this case, he was able to secure his staff's jobs and the future of the business, and that is
Yeah.
commendable, absolutely commendable.
And look, Mike's worked with lots of business coaches and he's really, put his time in to make sure that he researches this stuff and works with good people to allow him to be able to do that. So that's really important because he's basically put his money where his mouth is and really made sure he's prepared as best as he can by working with good people around.
Yeah, it's commendable. What have been some of your memorable highs as a practitioner?
So individuals who come to us with foot pain problems like sore heels or aching bunions, and that pain's massively impacting their quality of life. And a lot of people have been everywhere without success, and then they come to us and we're able to help them get better. And then they share with us the things that they have been able to achieve again, like going on their dream holiday, hiking the Camino, being able to play and keep up with their grandkids again, or just being able to get through the workday without pain and to be able to walk and exercise again afterwards. This really is the most rewarding part of what I get to do each day, as we really do have such a positive life impact on people and change their lives for the better. And this is the purpose of our foot and leg centres. It's in our mission statement is to transform lives, and through fixing foot problems, we get to transform people's lives every day.
What a wonderful mission in life.
Yes.
I totally agree. I'm an advocate, as you know. I experienced my own foot problem a few years ago, and I know that I have the security of coming back to you, but also to know that I can manage whatever's flaring up for me in my own home. So that's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
A few people in life that have really inspired me. So I read and watch a lot of content from John Eldridge and Bishop Robert Barron. They talk a lot about men's roles in life and that men really need to be fully alive and find joy in living a good life and serving others. The others are my boys. They just seeing them mature into good, kind men who know their minds, it's really inspiring. And I think they're doing their 20s much better than I did.
It's a true gift, isn't it? When you see your children turn into these remarkable young adults and you think to yourself, what a gift it is that you have that in your life.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think you touched on something for men, and that is the importance of good mentors, because I feel that today men have a bit of confusion about their role or about how they should act towards women or the language that's used. And we've seen this now in society. It's popping up its head left, right, and centre when it comes to women and relationships with men. And I think having the mentors that help you to become a better man and to be a more giving, loving person is so important because you're setting that example for your sons.
Yes, and I've also taken my sons when they were teenagers to some camps through an organisation that I'm part of called Men Alive, and the camps are actually called Growing Good Men.
There we go.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and it kind of really introduced my boys into lots of that sort of stuff, and it also opens forums to have those harder conversations as well.
Can you tell me about Men Alive?
So there's a place in America called Ransom Heart, which is run by a guy called John Eldry. So Men Alive is their Australian arm. It's run by a guy called Robert Falzon. So Robert's history is he did really well in business and he's retired, but felt like he's been gifted so well that he wanted to give something back. So he started Men Alive Australia using these resources from Ransom Heart in America. And basically, they do a lot of talks, a lot of things where they work with young men, but they also do talks for older men. It's faith based, so it's basically what God has planned for men and the best way to live a good life. Their call catchphrase is God is glorified when men are truly alive.
Okay, fascinating. I think the teachings would be quite remarkable and the platform very, very useful and engaging and encompassing.
Oh, it's fantastic stuff. Robert's also written a lot of books, as has John Eldridge. I've read books like Atomic Habits, and the books that they write are along those kinds of lines. So they are, those books that help you be successful, but they also talk a lot about being a good man and what that means, which I think is really important in the modern world.
Can you tell us what that means?
I think that, as you stated, there's a lot of bad things about masculinity at the moment, but that's not true masculinity. Masculinity calls us to be providers, it calls us to be carers, it calls us to be people that love our families. And that doesn't come naturally to a lot of men, especially that part about love your wives and love your family and love the people around you. It's actually a hard skill to have, but a really important one for men in the world, because without that, then the bad stuff can show up.
Yes, and I think you just touched on if men love themselves, then they can love their partners in that same way. But it's got to come back to self love.
Oh, absolutely. And, feeling good about yourself and feeling important. And they also talk about when things have gone wrong in your life previously, about how to get over that stuff and not just be hamstringed by it throughout the rest of your life.
Yes, I think in life, our mistakes are lessons. So it's win or learn. And if we constantly learn, then we can become a better person each and every time as we go through life. Life is not without challenges, and it's how we respond to them that makes all the difference.
Oh, that's 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, and how we leave people feeling after they've had an interaction with us, any interaction for that matter, whether it's your barista coming to an appointment with you or any other interaction. I think we are all energy. And I think if we have that positive energy and self love, then the world becomes more beautiful for those around us.
100% agree once again. And really, if we can live a life of service for each other, there are no leaders and no servants. We're all actually serving each other the best that we can, no matter what job we do.
Entrepreneurs who run a business, they have people in their business who we can call entrepreneurs who are equally astute and clever, and they work in that business and bring the best out in that business. What are your personal benchmarks for success?
They're pretty simple: to be humble, let those close to me know that they are important and loved, to live a life of service to others, and if I can, to leave the world a little better than when I joined it.
That's wonderful. Love it. Is there a particular way that you celebrate your wins?
Each week, as a team, we share the wins our clients have achieved, as we all find this inspirational and motivating. And on a quality basis, we all get together and reflect on our achievements over the past 3 months. And then we go out and share a delicious meal with the team as part of this celebration.
Oh, what a wonderful culture. That's a really team building, person building, inclusive, and celebratory culture. That's wonderful.
That culture has been set up from the top down. So Mike's really worked hard to be able to bring that to us.
Fantastic. What's the best piece of advice you've received?
Jeannie, you've already said it. There are wins and there are learning opportunities. There is no failure.
We're aligned. It's win or learn.
Yep.
What else would you like to share about the importance of looking after your feet?
I'm glad you asked. So, Jeannie, we only get one pair of feet, so they have to last our lifetime. Our feet are often out of sight and out of mind. So, it's only when things go wrong that people then seek help. So, what I say to everyone is check your feet daily, wear good footwear, make sure that you go to a store where you're going to be properly fitted by expert shoe fitters. Um, don't wait for foot pain to happen. And if you have any concerns regarding your feet, then get them checked professionally. Don't wait for pain.
Fantastic. I agree. Totally agree. And most people come when something hurts, as be like going to the dentist.
Yes.
Michael, we're going to go
Yep.
through 22 questions. One word answer.
Sure.
Are you ready?
I am.
What makes you smile?
My family.
What's your favorite cuisine?
Indian. Anything spicy.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh, Croatia.
Do you prefer to text or call?
Text.
Do you play a musical instrument or dance or sing?
I sing poorly.
I get a few of those responses. What's your favorite city and why?
I love Adelaide. I think it's just such a wonderful place to live and a lovely place to raise a family.
What's your happy place?
In the shed, working on my cars.
What's your favorite coffee?
Iced latte.
Is there a movie you'd recommend?
Secondhand lines.
Do you have a favorite song or artist?
Casting crowns and scars in heaven.
What's your biggest strength?
My patience.
What's your secret pleasure?
Or a good movie and some junk food.
If you could catch up with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be?
It would be my great grandmother on my dad's side. She was her village apothecary, and I would just love to pick her brain.
Oh, how wonderful. What an experience that would be. And the knowledge you would have.
Yes.
I think that would be another podcast episode if you were ever able to do that. What's your favourite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Because it's family time.
What's your favourite time of day?
In the evening,
What was the best holiday you've had?
we've got a shack on York Peninsula, and we spent 3 weeks there just getting in rhythm with summer. That was fantastic.
Do you enjoy sweet or savoury?
Savory.
Do you speak another language?
Croatian.
Is there a cause that you're passionate about?
Anything that empowers people without a choice in poverty to be able to get a choice to bring themselves out of those situations.
That's fantastic. I asked my father what the most important thing in life is, and his answer was the ability to choose.
Your father was a very smart man.
I agree. How do you relax?
I like watching a good movie.
If you could have 3 guests at your table, who would they be?
I reckon it'd be John Eldridge, Robert Barron, and my mum.
If you were a hashtag, what would it be?
Hashtag man alive.
Love it. Thank you for coming on to the podcast, Michael. I am thrilled that we have got to learn more about you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeannie.
You've been listening to Business Class presented by Eugenia Panterhos, founder of Business Class Collective. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcast, subscribe, rate and review this podcast. Share the love and let your family and friends know too. You can follow Business Class Collective on Instagram and Facebook. Join me next time. Hello, I've got a little bonus episode for you. It's a little conversation that Michael and I had after the podcast that I happened to record by accident. But it's such a beautiful conversation and very meaningful, and I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of candid, it's not filtered in any way or edited. It is what it is. So have a little listen. Until next time. About your grandmother, that would be fascinating. Oh my goodness. I have those feelings too, Michael, that I would love to have a moment with our ancestors because they had so much knowledge, right?
Oh, look, and I'm going down that track more and more. Like, it's funny, I started very mainstream, but even working with my naturopath, the stuff that we're doing, and I just wish I knew more. My dad's got some stories that he's got like vague memories from when he was a kid.
Mm.
So, with people being really sick and her cupping people with cholera and pneumonia and things like that, and them recovering.
Yeah, my grandmother did the same.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Because you've met
Incredible.
Tito as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've met Tito as well. Yes.
Because his grandmother was also the village apothecary.
Mm. When my mother had an entire garden here, an ornamental garden, like the back garden at home was all productive, tomatoes and everything else. But
Mhm.
her front garden was roses and carnations interplanted with medicinal plants. We had an uncle
Wow.
in Greece, and he stood in front of her garden because he recognized those plants straight away, and he put his arms out and he said, "This is the traditional Greek garden, ornamental and medicinal, all interspersed, and you wouldn't know what was what. But she knew."
Wow. That's fantastic. See, that I would love to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a companion planting of what goes well, how things thrive, and it's that knowledge. So
Hmm.
it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Yeah. We should have
And
talked
look,
about that in our podcast episode because I think people would love it. We'd have to do another one on these sorts of things.
I'd love to, and I've just got to pick my dad's brain and get as much info from him as I can.
Do it while
Um,
you're alive, absolutely, and write it down.
yeah, unfortunately, I think he was quite young when she was, because it was his grandmother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's one more generation ahead of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fascinating. Look, I try and grow herbs here that I use, and I have an ornamental garden, but I have a productive garden as well. And even though it's on a smaller scale, it just makes all the difference to me when I can go outside and pick a lemon off my tree, or a mandarin, or a lime, or my basil or parsley. You know,
yeah.
yeah,
So we've been in our place about 4 years and it didn't have any of that stuff. So we've basically slowly been pulling everything out and then replacing that. So I've been planting lots of fruit trees. My wife, Veronica, I've set up a garden bed for her. I've just done some raised garden beds as well. So we're getting there, but it just takes time.
yeah, yeah. It is. It's time, and suddenly they'll just flourish, and you'll think, "Oh, how did that happen?" Michael, lovely to talk to you. We'll say goodbye now. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll let you know when it's up and running. Okay?
Thanks. I hope that was all okay, Jenny.
It was lovely, absolutely fantastic, very on point and informative and genuine and honest, and that's what I love. Thank you so much.
Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye.